The night is quiet enough to hear the hush between heartbeats. Close your eyes and imagine darkness so complete that even the stars have not yet been kindled. It is a cradle made of possibility, older than memory, softer than breath. Out of that depth drifts the first vibration, not a sound exactly, but a ripple of becoming. Ancient poets called her chaos, not chaos as confusion, but chaos as yawning gap, a velvet chasm waiting to be filled. Float there for a moment, feel the weightless. Dark wrap around shoulders and spine. Inhale slowly through the nose, counting to 4. Hold, exhale to 6. With each breath, the gap warms, thickening into potential until a second pulse beats through the void. This pulse is Gaia, Earth Mother, her skin cool like river stone, her hair the mossy weave of future forests. In her chest stirs a rhythm, much like our own, but older, deeper tectonic lullaby. Gaia does not speak, yet her presence invites form. She rolls in dusky coils, pressing valleys into herself, raising mountains as knuckles against the dark. Against her curves another power awakens. Uranus, the starry sky, vast and glittering, her equal in her mirror. When sky stretches over Earth, you may picture a soft blanket settling over a tired child. The union is gentle at first, dew forming on newborn grass, wind exhaling across naked hills. If sleep tugs at your lashes, surrender. The story will carry you. In dream space, Gaia and Uranus bring forth the Titans, 12 tall shadows that stomp across cliffs in slow motion. Among them walks Kronos, youngest yet fiercest. Eyes like sickle blades, voice like deep winter. Water, Kronos grows restless. His father's endless stars press heavy on mountain shoulders. In secret, Gaia forges a crescent blade of adamantine and sets it in her son's trembling hands. A hush falls, deeper than any hush we have known, and with one swift arc, Kronos lops sky away from Earth, flinging sparks into blackness. Those sparks will later become constellations, but they drift for eons before hardening into light. Breathe. In, feel ribs expand like dawn petals. Breathe out. Let jaw unclench. Kronos claims the heavens are finished, yet time, once cut loose, flows thicker. He crowns himself ruler and wraps the newborn world in ticking rope. Under his reign, the seasons march without pause. Spring budding gladiolus, summer grinding wheat, autumn bleeding wine, winter muting drums. The Titans feast, but Kronos wakes each dusk to a whisper. As you dethroned, so shall you be dethroned. Fear tastes metallic on his tongue. To outmaneuver prophecy, Kronos devours every child the moment Hera lifts them from womb to air. Imagine the crunch of small bones, the swallow of potential. 1 to 3, 4 or 5 times, Gaia weeps sap into soil. Yet when the 6th child crowns, Hera swaps stone for infant, wraps it in wool, and passes boulder to her husband's greedy mouth. The true babe, Zeus, is smuggled to a hidden cave on Crete, where goat nurse Amalthea offers milk warm as twilight. Stone echoes in Kronos' gut, while thunder ferments in Zeus's tiny lungs. Let your shoulders drop. The blankets around your body mimic cave shadows. Above infant Zeus, the Crete's armored dancers clash bronze against bronze whenever he cries, drowning wails beneath martial clatter. Their rhythm becomes white noise, a primitive lullaby. You might hear it now, as faint metallic rain at the edge of perception. Years unfold like parchment curling near hearth heat. Zeus matures to Stormbringer, sinews braided with lightning. He returns to Olympus, carrying a skin of emetic wine brewed by wise goddess Metis. One sip forces Kronos to vomit 5 living gods: Hestia, Demeter, Hera, Hades, Poseidon, and the jagged boulder last. The siblings, slick with stomach bile, stand blinking but unbroken. They wipe debris from eyelids and join Zeus in revolt. Hear the tale often roars clashing titans, mountain-sized hammers, but tonight we fold it soft. Picture 2 chessboards superimposed, Pieces carved from storm cloud and basalt glide in slow, deliberate arcs. Each move resonates centuries. Atlas leans forward. Athena counters at diagonal. The Cyclopes slide a forge bright brook. Strategy. Hum slower than your own pulse until, finally, Zeus checkmates fate. The Titans crumble into silence and darkness. Exhale through parted lips. Feel tension spill from collarbones. The conquered Titans sink beyond sight into Tartaros, an abyss beneath even the realm of the dead. Around its rim, Zeus posts the Hecatonkaire's 100-handed. Sentries whose many palms drum a steady heartbeat in the dark, assuring nothing escapes. Down in Tartaros, Kronos folds upon himself like broken time, yet time continues because time is bigger than any clockwork body. Above, Olympus exhales starlight. Zeus stakes new order. Poseidon shall shepherd seas. Hades will cradle under shadow. Hera holds marriage's torch. Demeter looms over harvest. Hestia tends hearth flame. Zeus keeps sky and thunder, but tonight his cloud-forged throne is only silhouette against quiet constellations. Lightning arcs once, then settles into glowing veins across heaven, like thin cracks in cooling glass dot. We lie beneath those cooling cracks now. You, wrapped in blanket. I, perched and whisper. If eyelids drift heavy, allow them. The story will wait. Let your breath mirror the distant waves Poseidon stirs. Inhale slow crest, hold, exhale tumbling foam. Beyond closed lids, imagine faint luminescence. The Milky Way a spilled ambrosia. Somewhere near its center sits a boulder veined with old vomit the stone Kronos once mistook for bloodline. It glints occasionally, reminder that even gods can be fooled by fear. Before sleep claims you fully, recall Gaia's first heartbeat in the void. Slow, unhurried, older than anxiety. Feel mattress cradle spine the way earth cradled seeds of mountains. Tomorrow we may follow Apollo's silver arrow through prophecy, but for now remain in the gentle hush between thunderclaps. A final breath in, hold, let go. Olympus fades to comfortable dark. Your dreams may wander across dew-cooled meadows, or scale cloud ladders toward flickering halls, but dawn is distant and the gods keep watch. The night air is draped in velvet indigo, stitched with distant murmurs of thunder rolling far beyond the horizon. Imagine yourself reclining on a quiet marble terrace near the foot of Mount Olympus, a woolen cloak resting lightly upon your shoulders. The stone beneath you is still warm from the day, but a hush has descended, cool, measured, anticipatory, as though every grain of quartz is holding its breath for the storm father to speak dot in the hush. Inhale to a count of 4. Feel the air slip behind your ribs. Exhale to 6. Let shoulders fall. Thunder vibrates again low. A drum struck in the belly of the sky. It is the heartbeat of Zeus, king of cloud and lightning, whose moods sculpt weather the way sculptors chisel marble. Tonight we approach his throne not as trembling mortals, but as quiet travelers, our footsteps muffled by the remnants of dusk. Long before Zeus hurled bolts toward titans or mortals, he learned to read the pulse of a cloud. As a youth in the cave of goat nurse Amalthea, he watched morning mist coil around stalactites, gathering into droplets that fell like silver metronomes. Each drop, each echo, taught him patience. Lightning is not born from haste. It is brewed, distilled in layers of water, wind, and nerve. Picture child Zeus perched on a rock shelf, bare heels drumming against damp stone. He inhales cave musk, exhales a puff of invisible hope. From the cave roof, a single thread of water falls. He lifts a finger and interrupts the drops descending. A spark flickers between skin and water, so quick even goats fail to notice. This is the first handshake between boy and storm. Thunder is still centuries away, but you might feel its embryonic tremor press lightly against your eardrums even now. Breathe again slower this time. Wet eyelids drift half closed. In that softened vision, the cave morphs into Olympus. Colossal columns of petrified cloud, floors paved with polished sky stone. Here stands the Aegis throne, wrought from meteoric iron and inlaid with cyclopean gold. Its back curves like a black wing. Its seat hums with restrained voltage. Zeus sits, strong yet not unkind, hands folded, fingertips sparking idle blue filaments that dance away before you can focus dot. At his side stands Hera, queen of marriage, and guardian of oaths. Her gaze is sharp as a falcon feather, but here, under lantern soft starlight, it mellows. She touches Zeus's forearm, just 2 fingers, but the gesture acts like ground wire. The sparks quiet, his shoulders settle. Storms are easier to command when one is anchored, and Hera is his anchor, though she often becomes the cliff against which his waves crash. Their love is equal parts nectar and nettle. As you drift on terraced stone, listen to the low chorus of Olympus courtiers telling stories in hush. How Hera once placed an unbreakable knot around Zeus's wrist while he slept. How Zeus, upon waking, laughed and shattered the knot into a constellation of fireflies. The quarrel lasted 3 seasons, yet in those seasons rainfall shaped orchards, and vintners still toast that vintage. Lightning forks overhead white ink on cobalt parchment. Thunder follows, a slow motion drum roll. But we will not flinch. We will ride its resonance like lullaby bass. Zeus lifts his scepter, the Kronos, carved from elder wood, plated in bronze older than bronze. Inside its length lives the first thunderclap ever spoken. When he leans the scepter against cloudstone, the sky relaxes, tension draining like water from a sieved amphora. Remember a time your own anger cooled, jaw unclenched, fists released. That cooling is Zeus's gift to himself tonight. He has resolved dispute among minor winds, Boreas howling for territory against Zephyrus, and now the storm father wishes peace. Peace for Zeus sounds like distant rain on cedar leaves. Hear it now, PT, soft percussion weaved with hushed Hera steps toward balustrade, lifting a lamp of orichalcum. Its flame is gentle, terracotta orange, coaxed by olive oil and whisper of myrrh. She catches your eye and smiles the way hearthfire smiles at travelers soaked by winter rain. You are welcome on Olympus tonight, she seems to say, provided you respect silence. Zeus follows, draping cloak of storm, cloud around shoulders, so thin it looks weightless. Yet within its fold sleeps every bolt he ever cast. At the terrace edge they stand together. Below, the mortal world is a patchwork quilt. Vineyards, wheat fields silver with dew, hearth chimneys exhaling sleepy smoke. Zeus raises a single finger. Starlight condenses into a firefly that lands on his nail. Tiny, golden, it pulses 3 times, pulse, then flies away. Signal acknowledged. Storms will circumvent villages tonight. Watering only thirsty highlands. Take this moment to adjust pillow, draw blanket nearer chin. Feel chests rise fall like gentle hill slopes. The narrative wanders but never loses thread. Hera's lamp flicks once, twice, scattering saffron parabola onto Zeus's beard. You notice fine flecks of gray shimmering like frost in sunlight. Even gods age, though they wear years as jewelers wear a loop tool of perspective. A servant approaches, robes whispering across marble. Ganymede, cup-bearer, once prince, now mortal by Zeus's favor. He carries a crater of sweet mead, scent of fermented thyme swirling upwards. Zeus drinks. Hera drinks. They offer you a shallow kylix. The mead inside tastes of late summer dusk, Lee-song, and faint vanilla from cedar cask char. 1 sip, that is enough. Second would steal WAKEFUL NESS cloud. Cover parts. Moon sails free, broad as shield of polished nickel. On its face you might discern the outlines of 3 old wounds cut by Kronos' sickle. They glint briefly, then fade. Zeus edges closer to Hera, a shoulder touch, gentle electricity. In response, the sky thrums low, not a growl but purr. Big cat satisfied. Behind them, guests mingle, rosy-fingered Eos painting horizon. Fleet Hermes balancing on parapet rail, wings twitching. Athena turning a bronze owl statuette in nimble fingers. The gods speak softly tonight, their consonants, rounding into river pebble sounds. Each syllable is smoothed for our sake, no sudden clang to jar half-lidded eyes. From somewhere deeper in palace corridors, a choir of wind nymphs begins hymn, soprano, alto, contralto, each note precisely spaced like Orion's belt. The melody circulates over terrace, weaves around lamp, threads through your hair. Musical tesserae mosaic, a lull so delicate you almost miss thunder's retreat. Lightning flickers only at horizon now. Shy, content. Zeus lowers scepter flat across masonry. Metal cools against stone, last spark snuffed. He closes eyes. He is merely breath and beard and steady heartbeat. Hera exhales long, lamp dims. In that dimness, Jupiter and Juno dissolve into silhouette two dream shapes carved in cloud marble. You. Two may dissolve. Let toes unclench. Let knees sink deeper into mattress valley. Let hands rest palm up as though catching soft drizzle. Over your stomach, imagine a blanket thundercloud, heavy but safe, shielding dreams from intrusive light. Each raindrop striking cloud wall transforms to silver lull that drips onto consciousness. Drip, drip, drifting. Somewhere below, roots of Olympus feel the first sleepy vibration of dawn. It whispers through soil, climbs marble veins, kisses. Terrace stone. Hera's lamp finally gutters. Zeus's cloak sighs and thins. A single star remains punching tiny hole in violet sky. Let it watch over you. You needn't keep vigil. Take final breath in through nostrils. Hold 5 heartbeats. Exhale like distant wind receding through pine. If words continue, allow them to fade into a soft, incomprehensible murmur like thunder grumbling far across another world. In that murmur, trust that storms are pocketed away, scepter cooled, crown balanced. The night guard is posted, and dawn still slumbers for hours. Sleep now. Dream beneath the storm father's quiet crown and Hera's unfaltering lamp. Their quarrels are hushed, their hearts aligned to keep the sky serene. Morning will find your pillow calm, your breath a gentle river. Until then, float in cloud folds, warmed by hidden lightning that hums like distant lullaby, promising safety in every rumble. The night this tale begins is neither entirely night nor yet emerging day. It is the breathing seam in between a private hour the Homeric poets called amphilicta, when violet shadows coil around cedar trunks and even owls pause to listen. Picture the Aegean sky as watered ink spilling across a blank papyrus, then diluting at the edge where dawn will paint. That paling edge is where our story settles, and where your body may drift like a boat on glassy tides. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Hold, exhale for 6. As breath glides out, let shoulders thaw, spine melt a fraction deeper into mattress or a cushion. Overhead, a moon so thin, it is almost memory arcs toward the western ridge. Its sliver casts as silver threads across a marble floor, pooling at your feet like cold silk. Tonight we follow that silver into the heart of twin divinity. Artemis, Lady of the Bow, and Apollo, Lord of the Sun, lie born together, yet walking opposite horizons. First, let the shadows thicken. Back into myth time. See an island adrift upon a windless sea. D-less, bare, rock-boned, smelling of salt and flowering thyme. Delphi is not yet Delphi. Temples are only intention. Prophecy still sleeps in the throat of future poets. Undayless, a single olive tree leans seaward, its roots clawing crumbled shale. Beneath this tree groans Leto, daughter of Titans, her brow glazed with salt sweat. Hera, jealous, vengeful, has banned every civilized land from hosting Leto's birth. But bare Delos is no land, merely floating refuse of an earlier cataclysm. So Leto's labor unfolds here to the pulse of slow waves. Midwives encircle her. 9 in number lean, sun-cured women whose names never pass into epic scrolls. They murmur chants that sound like wind combing tall reeds. Hush, hush. You may imagine their breath descending like lullabies on the womb. Time stretches, then folds. Leto's cry pierces star films. The first twin slides into brine-scented air. Artemis, eyes open, gaze bright as sword edge. Without hesitation, Artemis wipes vernix from her own eyelids, then kneels and guides her brother free. Thus the goddess of childbirth earns her title before she can speak a single word. Breathe again. Feel chest swell. Recognize that every birth is 2 births, of infant and of myth. From that moment, Artemis claims the cool hush of midnight forests. Her cradle is moonlight. Her lullaby, the soft tread of deer through myrtle. She grows quickly God's dew-long limbs, coppered by dawn hunts, laughter ringing like bronze arrowheads. Tapped together, Apollo, by contrast, grows bright and loud. Imagine sunlight distilling into human shape, skin glazed with honey amber, hair a crown of wheat gold, voice tuned to the secret harmonic that holds the cosmos in tension. He strings a lyre gifted by Herm's tortoise shell stretched with 7 lamb gut strings, and each pluck births a star. When he laughs, cicadas modulate to match. When he frowns, their choirs still. Yet twins share marrow even when they choose different roads. Visualize 2 arrows launched from one bow. One arcs toward sunrise, the other toward fading moon. But for a breath, they fly in perfect tandem, whispering across silent sky. We lie beneath that crossing, safe in the hush between their divergent paths. Let eyelids drift heavier now, half-mast, like shutters yielding to sea breeze. We follow Artemis first through pine-gotched hills of Tegidus, where every branch glimmers pale under her silvery crown. She moves with predator quiet, footfalls kisses upon moss. At her hip hangs a quiver of lunar-forged shafts. Each arrowhead glows faint, like dew ignited by distant torch. She knocks one, draws bow of polished yew slow, deliberate as though. Stretching dawn itself, then releases. The arrow does not seek flesh. Instead, it cleaves night air into ribbons of silence, sowing hush deeper into forest canopy. Trees exhale. Nocturnal creatures fold into nests. An owl tilts head as arrow. Passes whisper close. Artemis smiles, not at conquest, but at the pure geometry of flight. Meanwhile, somewhere beyond the horizon's rim, Apollo stands on marble threshold of his chariot. The chariot wheels are discs of hammered gold, each spoke throbbing with captured daylight. Fire horses rear, Pyroes, Ethon, Issa, Phlegonmanes, flickering like parchment set aflame. Apollo brushes fingers across their necks, murmuring a note so low you feel, rather than hear, its resonance. They calm, hooves settling onto cloud amble. With dawn's first blush he will ride. But in this breath in between he listens, listen. Likewise, far away a lyre string vibrates, faint yet clear. A single note elongated until it becomes almost silence. That note threads through pre-dawn air, enters your room, coils lightly around your wrist like satin ribbon. It carries no story, no prophecy, only the suggestion of one. If you've ever woken moments before sunrise and felt heart hover, neither racing nor still, you've heard Apollo's tuning note. Artemis pauses at a spring. Water mirrors broken moon, reeds quiver. She crouches, palms rippling surface. In reflected pool, she glimpses her brother's chariot far across sky, a smear of warm gold approaching. They do not speak. They seldom need to. Artemis dips fingertips. flicks a gentle arc of water eastward. Droplets transform into slender silver fish that swim midair before evaporating. Miles away, those droplets strike Apollo's chariot rail, vaporize in golden hiss, and he knows his sister's hunt is complete. The forest can sleep. Return attention to breath. Inhale through nose. Feel cool air brush soft palate. Exhale like arrow gliding through fog. Around you the room settles. Maybe distant city sounds fade, replaced by hush of cypress leaves. That hush is Artemis's mantle descending over mortal sleepers. Apollo steps onto chariot, grips reins braided from sun thread. Horses surge, wheels scorch faint grooves in dawn cloud. Below, villages stir, a rooster crows. Fishermen push boats, olive pickers shoulder baskets. Apollo's light arrives not with trumpet, but with gradual warmth spreading across skin, across wheat fields, across closed eyelids. You may feel it now. Faint glow beneath flashes, though lamps are off. That glow is imagination drinking sunrise. Yet before full day claims sky, the twins meet at horizon. Imagine edge of world as meeting of two rivers, one silver, one gold. They braid for a heartbeat. Artemis hands Apollo a single arrow tipped with dew. Apollo offers her a cord struck pure on wire. Gifts exchanged, they pivot. She drifts west into fading starlight. He charges east into blossoming day. Their balance keeps cosmos steady. Moon rinsing stress from dark hours. Sun warming hope into daylight. Breathe, hold, release. Apollo's chariot recedes beyond inner vision. We follow, but at walking pace. In Delphi, temple doors yawn. Priestesses stoke laurel and scents. Pythia sits upon tripod, inhaling fumes that curl like ghost snakes. Out of smoke her mouth forms vowels prophecy, but we do not translate to might. Words can wait. Sleep is older than omen. As Sakala begins morning overture, single click pause, double quick soon chorus. Yet Artemis's hush lingers like cool dew on skin. Even sunlight remains soft, as though each photon asks permission before landing. You may notice facial muscles have slackened. Tongue rests heavy. Heartbeat parallels far off hoofbeats. Rhythmic calm. Before we drift entirely, recall Delos once more. Island at rest after twin birth. Midwives asleep beneath olive. Leto stroking infants' brows. Sea laps shore, each wave a rocking cradle. Anemones close around rock pools, hiding color until next noon blaze. Clouds overhead part, revealing dawn star child of Venus, flickering like promise. In that promise, sleep doses lightly, arms open wide. Take final slow breath in. 2, 3, 4, hold. Release through parted lips like soft hoot of forest owl. Let Artemis guide dreams along silver path through pine and moonfleck. Let Apollo warm marrow with low hum of lyre strings still vibrating somewhere beyond. Eyelid, trust that twins guard either side of slumber, one with silent arrow, one with golden cord. No nightmares slip between their watch. The bow is lowered, the lyre is hushed. The night recedes. All that remains is pulse, breath, and a glimmer of silver gold at threshold of dream. Follow it deeper, sleep. Tonight the earth itself exhales a slow, fragrant breath, as though every vineyard, wheat field, and mountain meadow has agreed to pause for a single shared heartbeat. Rest your spine as if it were a seed settling into loam. Let eyelids droop, like petals at dusk. In that dark, moist hush, a quiet drum begins to pulse far below soil, deeper than roots, deeper even than buried rivers of forgotten lava. This drum is the secret heartbeat of the seasons, and it is kept by two intertwined divinities, Demeter, goddess of grain and green abundance, and Persephone, maiden queen of the shadowed realm. First thrum, spring of promise, breathe in, count. 4, 1, 2, bud, bloom. Exhale 6, wind through barley, song of robin, hush. Now imagine a valley painted jade, young wheat nodding under mild breezes, smelling of rain-wet stone. At the valley's center stands Demeter, her hair a tumble of ripening wheat, her robe woven from first dawn mist. She holds a bronze sickle, but the blade sleeps, polished and unblooded. Children run at her hem, laughter like ringing bells, made tiny to avoid waking sleepers. She stoops, presses palm upon newborn shoot. The stalk straightens as though hearing lullaby. Each spring Demeter whispers her daughter's name into furrows. Persephone. The soil answers with faint upward quiver, like a dreamer stirring. Snowmelt seeps downward, carrying syllables. Through black humus, through limestone, through quartz veins, until they reach the shadow border. There, Persephone drowses under a blanket of asphodel petals, half awake, half away. Her pulse quickens once, twice, the secret drum speeds. Roots tremble, seeds split. Shoots push blindly toward light they cannot yet imagine. Second, from summer on the vine heat arrives slow, like honey poured from amphora. Your own breath may warm. Cheeks glow beneath closed lids. Demeter walks rows of emerald maze, fingertips brushing tassels that release minuscule yellow dust into sun-thick air. Cicadas rasp a tinsel rhythms, easy, rest mirroring distant heartbeat. Green heads plump. Olives harden. Fakes swell, veins visible like faint constellations upon fruit sky. Even here, Persephone's influence lingers. Every green thing holds a faint memory of darkness, a coolness at core, reminding us that sweetness is sweetest when born from depth. Think of watermelon rinds, outside hot, inside crimson frost. Persephone is that frost, hidden but essential. Without the underelm's hush, summer's song would be tuneless noise. Third thrum, autumn of blood and wine now, the pulse changes. Key. Inhale, feel chest tighten like leather drum stretched over new frame. Exhale, note undercurrent of iron and breath, hint of rust, a fallen leaf. Demeter trades sickle for pruning knife. She cuts clusters of purple grapes. Juice beads at. The severed stem, small droplets the color of Persephone's lips. That juice will darken to wine, wine to song, song to memory, but tonight it simply glistens, suspended at harvest festivals, mortals stomp vats, bare feet turbid in must, chanting gratitude to Demeter. One verse always belongs to Persephone, though few comprehend. Red is the road that circles back to seed. They speak of great blood returning to soil, yet the line also marks daughters' return to shadows. Beneath rushing floors, the secret drum slows. Vast notes deepen, evenings cool, crickets taper. Daylight thins like old parchment. Demeter feels it first, ache behind knees, chill and marrow. She knows 6 pomegranate seeds lie already dissolved in her daughter's belly, obliging Persephone to descend when the sky turns rust. Still she lingers in orchard, gathering fallen apples, stacking marrows, braiding garlic ropes, as though one more task might postpone farewell. Descent. Silence between heartbeats lie flatter, as though earth itself were a mattress. Sensation of sliding, slow elevator into root dark. Persephone walks down a stair, polished jet, torch held low, flame blue where oxygen thins. Each step is soft thump and underworld dusk. Each thump aligns with your own slower pulse. Around, her drift shades gray outlines of memory. None disturb her. She is both queen and caretaker, greeting them with nod, allowing each shade to keep its tail. She reaches Hades' throne room, where the king offers a seat carved from obsidian and lined with wolf pelt. Yet she prefers the garden, an impossible grove of ghost, white poplars whose leaves tinkle like wind chimes though no wind blows. In that hush Persephone cups a single seed of Stygian poppy and presses it into ash-rich soil. Above ground, Demeter feels tug behind sternum, as if someone plucked a single harp string inside her chest. Frost condenses on field fringe. Sap slows and vine dot forth thrum. Winter of stillness, the drum becomes slow, slow, slow. You too have slowed. Perhaps breath now counts to 6 on inhale, 8 on exhale. Snow drapes furrows. River edges glass. Over. Demeter dons mantle of charcoal wool. Hood shadowing eyes. She walks empty terraces, touching dormant buds, whispering, "Sleep, little one, sleep." Her voice is hoarfrost, but inside it glows promise. Logs crack in mortals' hearts. Each crack is miniature thunder forging patience. In longhouses, mothers grind stored grain, dull stone rhythm echoing underworld heartbeat. Children sip broth, eyelids heavy, ask when flowers return. Mothers answer with stories of a young queen visiting deep halls, of a goddess who will wake her and open every bud when the time is ripe. Return. Pulse reborn, listen, the faintest tremor resumes. Tick tick, not yet drum, but spark. Under snow, a crocus bulges, purple tip piercing white hush. Far below, Persephone lifts face toward invisible ceiling. She tastes damp thaw in air coursing through cavern vents. Hades nods. He feigns indifference, but his shadow leans warmer near. Her. She steps on a spiral stair, ascends dot above. Demeter kneels, pressing ear to dirt. Against her cheek, she feels daughter's upward footfall. Soil vibrates, seeds stir. She stands, extends arms. Persephone breaks surface and burst of black rich. Long, Demeter enfolds her. Tears, molten quartz tesserae, trail down both faces. Where they land, snow recedes, rivers unclench. The secret drum races, tum tum tum, not frantic, but jubilant. You may sense a quickening in your own pulse. Allow it, then guide it gently slower again. Demeter lifts cornucopia, tips handfuls of barley that spill like gold coins across. Landscape. Crops sprout miniature but complete, each stalk bowing as though in gratitude. Bees unwrap tongues, sip first nectar, lambs wobble. Wind chews catkins off willow tips. Persephone smiles sunlight and moon shadow in equal measure. She knows she will descend again, and that knowledge no longer stings. In its place grows rhythm, up, down. Bloom, blood. Heat, hush, the same rhythm lulling you now. Coda, sleeper's harvest, breathe once more. Inhale scent of tilled soil, of early hyacinth. Exhale wooden smoke memory of winter just past. Feel heart settle into a pace that mirrors distant drum, steady but unhurried. Imagine Demeter's hand smoothing hair from your brow, fingers cool, nails caked with safe dirt. Imagine Persephone placing tiny silver seed on your tongue promise of dream. Swallow. Seed melts into warmth, radiating spine, shoulders, calves, blanket. Edges rise like soft earthen banks. Pillow deepens, a cradle of moss. Outside, maybe city sirens, maybe ticking clock. But beneath those surface noises, the ancient drum beats. Deeper than street, deeper than architecture. Same pulse that turned seasons when brick was still clay. Trust it. Let consciousness sink until it floats. Paradox resolved. Next spring, next chapter, other gods. For now, harvest sleep. Store dreams like grain within painted amphora. Tomorrow you may feast. Tonight you gather. Let lids close fully, breaths. Lengthen, heartbeat find Demeter's tempo. Blood and bloom continue their duet and marrow, but you drift under their music, safe as seed in womb of thawing earth. The moment you feel the weight of blankets settle against your collarbones, imagine a second, softer blanket lowering from above woven not of wool but of shadow silk, cool as river mist. That shadow silk is the first veil of the underworld. A realm whose gateways creak on invisible hinges and whose hallways echo with footsteps made of memory. Tonight we will drift across that threshold. We will meet Hades, silent custodian of the dead, and taste the water of Lethe, the river of forgetting, while the black torrent of Styx keeps oath and border, descent by quiet spiral inhale through the nose. Hold, exhale slowly through parted, lips like wind slipping beneath an old door. A stair appears carved from igneous stone, spiraling down into a well of muted torchlight. Each step is warm against bare solace, as though the stair still remembers the molten forge from which it cooled. Lanterns affixed to walls burn low blue. Their flames do not flicker, but stand upright, obedient to a gravity unfamiliar to the upper world. Dot with every third step, faint vibrations thrum and railing. Thump, thump, pause. This is the heartbeat of the deep kingdom, slower than any mortal pulse, but steady as lunar orbit. You synchronize breath to that pulse. Lungs expand. On thump, rest on pause. Contract on next thump. Deeper you descend until air smells of clean minerals and distant rain. Vestibule of shades. At stair's end lies a cavern wide as cathedral nave, roof lost to darkness. Hundreds of faint silhouettes drift, shades of men, women, children, all. Featureless but for silver glints where eyes once carried color. They converse in hush like wind brushing reed beds. At the cavern's midpoint stands a tollbooth of bone-white marble attended by Charon, the ferryman, his cloak stitched from sailcloth turned gray by centuries of damp. He extends palm, but does not speak. He has no need. Every traveler arrives, holding a single obol coin paid by kin to secure passage. Tonight, Charon waves you through. For stories are currency more valuable than silver dot beyond tollbooth. A black shore curves long as horizon. Waves break without sound, leaving behind luminous traces resembling sequins on sable fabric. This is Styx, boundary river, keeper of oaths. Dip fingertip water clings in threads, refuses to fall. It coils around skin like quicksilver, cold. Enough to numb thought. You withdraw. Droplet slides away, and the oath is made. You may visit, but you may not steal what dwells below. Dot boat across oblivion. Charon gestures toward skiff fashioned from the ribs of a leviathan whale lost before written. Time. Boarding, you settle on bench polished by countless pilgrim shadows. No oars, yet the boat glides. Current beneath hull beats like muffled drum. Around you rise pillars of basalt, their tops vanishing, suggestions of massive colonnades supporting weight of living world. Phosphorescent lichens cling to stone, flicker soft teal, granting just enough glow to sense direction without waking fear. Dot as skiff drifts. Listen for distant water-like whisper. Lethe flows parallel to Styx, hidden behind stalagmite forest. Its voice is silk ripping slowly, a sound you nearly forget once heard. Many shades queue at Lethe's bank, kneeling to sip and surrender memory's burden. Some hold fragments longer, smell of fresh bread, name of lost child, taste of autumn fig. Each fragment abandoned becomes translucent moths that flutter upward before dissolving. This forgetting is gift and price. Without names to cling, sorrow cannot scald. Throne room, heart of stillness boat, nudges dock carved from obsidian. You disembark into hallway paved with hematite tiles veined like dry riverbeds. Ahead, 2 lupin statues flank bronze doors, eyes set with onyx. Doors open inward without human push, revealing throne room lit by braziers of smokeless flame. At its center sits Hades, robe black yet shimmering with undertones of oil on water violet, green, cobalt shifting. His crown is modest iron circlet studded with shards of meteor glass. He regards you not with malice, but with measured curiosity, as archivists might regard new parchment. Dot around him circulate minor spirits. Hypnos sliding dreamy hand across a weary shade's brow. Thanatos guiding newly arrived flickers to waiting. Benches, in far alcove, unseen but felt, Persephone tends her pale orchard. Faint scent of asphodel drifts, sweet and mournful. Hades lifts one finger. A chair of polished basalt rises behind you like seedling shot from soil. You sit. Seat contours adapt to spine, encouraging vertebrae to uncoil. Breath deepens. Hades speaks not aloud, but inside thought. Witness, but carry nothing back. That is not silence. His words settle like volcanic ash. Heavy, then cooling. Smoothing edges of inner monologue. Ledger of murmurs before throne rests massive slab of polished obsidian upon which appears streaming text names. Dates last. Heartbeats etched by unseen stylus in glowing ember script. Each fresh line etches, flares, fades to red ember, then gray. Ledger never slows. Mortality upstream remains generous. While you watch, feel heart rate align with pace of entries, surprisingly calm like librarian turning pages. Hades closes. Ledger with slight gesture. He points toward left archway. Corridor hums with faint water noise. Lethe again, closer. Walk with him. Corridor floor softens into damp sand, carrying footprints of countless souls, yet no two prints overlap. Each is granted solitary path. Ahead, river glows pale gold, surface milky like tea stirred with honey. A stone fountain shaped like inverted lotus lifts middle of stream. From its petals pour trickling filaments, each strand humming a different. Key, Hades stops, retrieving shallow alabaster cup. He offers. Within cup, Lethe's water swirls, but never spills. You raise cup to lips, but remember, to drink fully is to forget world of sun. Instead, allow a single drop on tongue. It tastes of rain that never fell, of names you once tried to recall and dream, of worry dissolving an edge of morning. Muscles slacken, shoulders no longer recall weight. Eyelids hover half open, vision soft. Echo, hall, and mirror gate Hades. Guides you to Echo Hall, lined with mirrors reflecting nothing but dim torchlight. Each mirror is a doorway. One leads home. He strikes floor with ebon staff. Chosen mirror ripples to reveal faint outline of your own sleeping form above ground, chest rising beneath covers. Hades nods, time to depart. Return path is swift. Hallway. Unfurls, boat awaits. Styx yields passage. Stair spirals upward, yet memory blurs. Lethe's drop prunes edges of recollection. By the time your head meets pillow, crown of Hades feels rumor. Throne fades misty, ledger entries unreadable. Only hush remains deep, infinite hush drumming level with heartbeat. Surface heartbeats resurfaced, merge into ordinary dark of bedroom. No difference. Earlier dark carried waiting tension. Now dark feels padded, forgiving. Inhale air scented, faintly with loam and distant rain, souvenir of underworld garden. Exhale, worry sifts like sand back through fingers of consciousness. That cup of lethe still lingers as cool stride down throat. It edits rumination, dulls sharp corners of regret. Doubts lose coherence, sentences trailing into pleasant nonsense. Each breath erases line of to-do lists. Perhaps tomorrow memory will stitch them anew, but now only gentle emptiness, thrones thump. Pause, thump. Pause that you may picture Styx far below, encircling mortal coil. Its oath cold waters safeguard sleep, wording stray nightmare. Should. Intrusive thought attempt crossing. Styx hisses, oath unbroken. Across the circle, Lethe runs parallel, siphoning echoes until dream space clears like lake after fog. Lull of the door, hinge door, to underworld drifts shut behind mind's I know. Bang, just hush as hinges kiss. Feel mattress accept full body weight. Hades retires to throne, ledger resumes. Persephone hums to orchard. None of that concerns you now. Your seed returned to soil, warmed by inner ember. Pulse matches secret drum. Breathe final guided breath. In for 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, exhale 6-2-4-5-6. Lips part slightly, jaw slack, limbs heavy. If thoughts flicker, imagine them tiny silver-eyed shades queuing at Lethe Bank. One by one they drink, dissolve, vanish. Sleep descends like second blanket, this time woven from leafy cool water, and six firm oath. It seals dreams inside safe amphora, corked with obsidian stopper. In morning you may uncork gently. For now drift deeper. Heartbeat of underworld recedes, replaced by distant sea whispers and hush of your own breath bracketed by silence. You can almost feel it the moment your eyelids drift heavy, the faint metallic tang in the air, as though a distant blacksmith has just quenched iron in cold water. That whisper of steam is our ticket tonight. Follow it down a dim corridor where walls vibrate with a muted hum, half heartbeat, half hammerfall guiding you toward Hephaestus and Athena, twin architects of craft, logic, and unhurried wonder. Ember stone threshold begin with breath. Inhale 4 counts, hold 2, exhale 6. With each out breath, imagine sparks floating away like fireflies, leaving worries to fade in their wake. A stone archway looms ahead, carved from basalt veined with molten glass. Across the keystone glows an inscription that shifts between 2 words, Techne skill and Sophia wisdom. The door opens not on hinges but on pulleys of thought. As you step through, gears spin overhead, teeth meshing without clack, greased by silence. Forge of the lame god, the chamber widens into cavernous. Forge lit by magma streams. Anvils sprout from floor like islands. Bellows the size of elephant lungs rise and fall in gentle rhythm, each exhale sending gold notes swirling upward like lazy snow. At the central anvil stands Hephaestus, broad-shouldered, one leg braced by iron caliber imperfection turned badge of mastery. His hammer Arcus rests upon calloused palm, head still warm from earlier strikes. Hephaestus raises balefire tongs and plucks a bar of celestial or black blue, shot with opal veins from crucible. With patient breath, he lowers bar onto anvil, lifts hammer, begins a cadence lower than your pulse. Clang, pause, clang, pause. Each strike sends resonance through solace of feet, up spine, into skull, where it echoes like deep gong, turning thought to molten glass. Athena's loom of Logos opposite the forge glimmers a mezzanine lined with parchment scrolls, gears, and silver spindles. There waits Athena, eyes gray as dawn over chalk quarry, helm set aside, allowing owl feather braids to coil around shoulders. Instead of hammer, she wields shuttle, weaving warp threads of pure idea, weft threads of observation. On her loom glows tapestry in progress, diagrams of lever, catapult, water clock, sketches of law code, even faint notes of lullaby written in Ionian notation. Athena plucks single thread, tugs, a harp-like tone drifts downward, interlacing with Hephaestus's hammer rhythm. Clang, clang, hum. Their duet stabilizes brainwaves, delta. Waves bloom, encouraging deeper descent into restful trance. The first thought, blade Hephaestus pauses, inspects glowing bar. With swift chisel, he splits billet, reveals shimmering core of star metal. You witness birth of thought blade, weapon intended not to cut flesh, but to slice confusion into clarity. When cooled, its edge will be honed on whetstone of rhetorical. Question, its hilt wrapped in strips of honest doubt. For now it glows orange, hot enough to soften marble, yet strangely does not scorch eyesight. Hephaestus lowers blade into oil bath. The hiss is long sigh, similar to exhale you release when setting down burden. Oil smells of myrrh and cedar. Rising steam envelops you, warm yet dry, carrying essences of cave and sky. Loom to larynx above. Athena finishes line of tapestry depicting twin coils D and A, like helix centuries before mortals coined the term. She removes shuttle, sets cloth on. Marble desk, lifts stylus dipped in squid ink. Writing begins. Treaties, theorems, lullabies for warrior children. Each stroke emits faint quill scrape that merges with forge hum soft as Zamar scratching coaxing eyelids lower. She calls you by gentle nod. An owl flutter lands on railing, eyes yellow embers. Athena gestures and steps aside, leaving space before tapestry. Threads shift, color swirling until blank panel forms. Your mind projects worry, half-formed plan, stray memory onto cloth. Athena touches shuttle. Threads reorganize memory into lattice of solvable nodes, turning tangled mess into tidy grid. You feel weight in chest lighten. Blueprint of tomorrow clarifies. Gift of quiet gears, Hephaestus sets thought blade upon velvet cloth near anvil. He turns, picks smaller item from bench. Tiny brass gear, no larger than thumbnail, teeth perfect. He hands it to you. The gear is warm, pulsing faintly, sinking to heart rhythm. Hephaestus conveys without words, placed beneath pillow. Let it spin. Dreams into balance mechanism. Gear's warmth travels through fingertips into sternum, radiating calm. River of cooling slagate, channel of slag runs perimeter of forge, glowing dull red, cooling to obsidian. With every heartbeat, its color darkens. Each shovel of black sand thrown by Cyclops' assistant saps heat, pulling forge gradually toward rest. Same occurs in your body. Micro forges inside muscles reduce activity. Calcium sieges on filaments. Cease. Blood flow slackens to night pace. Dimming of the hearth Athena rolls tapestry, seals with bronze clasp, whispers word that sounds like library sung backward. Scroll levitates to shelf, enter slot, join thousands. She withdraws lamp of. Frosted quartz, flame pale blue, adjusts wick until brightness mirrors half moon. That lamp duplicates in your mind as bedside glow dimming to comfortable. Bedside nightlight, final calibration, Hephaestus checks bellows. Their motion slows, rest. Hammer Arcus returns to rack, head cooling. Athena closes loom, threads suspended. Mid-air like stars awaiting names. Together they approach central dais. Between them lies stone basin filled with still water. They extend hands over surface, Hephaestus' scarred palm, Athena's ink-smudged fingertips. Drip of perspiration from forge covers flame callus. Drop of squid ink from quill merges into swirl. Water blackens, becomes mirror reflecting your dozing face far above. They nod, craft and thought delivered, dreamer primed. Ascent by ember ladder, aye. Staircase of faintly glowing coals appears, but each coal cools when stepped upon. You climb feet unharmed, leaving black footprints that fade. Sounds of hammer and loom recede, replaced by ticking gear beneath pillow. Air shifts from mineral warmth to bedroom neutrality. Final step dissolves. You settle into mattress completely. Pillow. Workshop press head into pillow. Beneath fabric, warmth of brass gear rotates silent. Every rotation files burrs off stray anxiety. Mind's anvil receives sparks of thought that might have flared into worry, but cooling oil bath of breath quenches. Them. Pillow shifts, shaping to occipital curve, as Hephaestus tailored hammers to strike perfect chords. Owl feather silence outside window, maybe wind rattles branch. Inside, owl feather hush drapes across scents. Athena's owl watches dusk beyond. Eyelids, sentinel of rational repose. Should nightmare embers flare, owl blinks once. Embers gutter, sleep protocol, inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 6. Gear ticks once per cycle. Count gears until lost. When you can no longer recall number, forge. Door closes, loom lamp dims. Craft is complete, Hephaestus cooled passions. Athena aligned thoughts. No need to solve, no need to build tonight, workshop rests. Blueprint sleeps. Dream may carry you along conveyor of shifting gears into corridors of silent libraries. Athena will guide by lamplight, or perhaps you'll drift along magma river. Cooled to glass, carving sculptures with fingertip that glow then fade. all safe oaths forged, mind-tempered, body annealed. The sea is breathing. You can feel it even with closed eyes. Each inhale is a hush of indigo water sliding across moon-cooled sand. Each exhale, the faint crackle of foam retreating through tiny quartz particles. Tonight we sit at that shoreline, half awake, half a dream, waiting for Aphrodite to rise from the surf the way dawn rises from horizon slow, inevitable, soaked in soft light. We will meet her companion Eris, whose arrows bend physics into poetry, and we will listen for the nearly silent machinery that couples planets, atoms, and heartbeats. Wet blankets settle like warm tide over your shoulders. Inhale 4 counts, hold 2, exhale 6. Let shoreline hush drown stray thought. Birth in sea foam long before mortal sailors mapped constellations, before black-figured vases told war stories. The sea held a secret pearl of becoming. The titan Kronos had hurled his father's severed things into waves. From that churning froth emerged a luminous figure standing on scalloped shell. Imagine a soft glow silhouette separating from white foam, droplets sliding down skin like newborn pearls. As she breathes first breath, wind braids into loose aureole around her head. Sea sparrows circle, and every mollusk for miles opens in reverent gasp. She steps onto sand. Where her heel presses, pink sea anemones flower. Aphrodite love embodied has arrived, yet the beach remains quiet. Love prefers entry in whispers, not trumpet blasts. You might feel warm pulse inside sternum, tiny echo of first love you ever knew. Maybe a lullaby, maybe smell of vanilla taffy at seaside carnival. That pulse synchronizes with faraway breakers. In, out, memory, hush, Aphrodite lifts gaze. Starlight slides down curve of collarbone like Mercury. She could command thunderous applause, but she chooses hush. Love that roars often startles. Love that whispers persuades. Loom of rose, gold thread, far inland. On an Acropolis balcony that does not yet exist, a loom materializes, warp beams carved of cedar, weft shuttle carved of ivory. Every night after her sea birth, Aphrodite leans, overlit only by a lunar spell. She does not weave cloth, but tension, the tensile strand that draws gaze to gaze, palm to palm. She plucks first warp thread, copper pink, spun from sunset. Second thread, cockleshell white, spun from sigh that slips through lips moments after. First kiss. Third, opaque teal, spun from teardrop formed when parted lovers glimpse each other after long months. Shuttle slides, rhythm slower than your pulse. She tap. Pause. She tap dot with each pick of shuttle. You may feel eyelids. Heavier. Weft thread is scented faintly with saffron and rain on gardenia. Athena once challenged Aphrodite that weaving belonged to craft, not charm. Aphrodite answered only by weaving a single square cloth that made Athena blink, recall first childhood crush, and forget quarrel entirely. Tonight that cloth expands, covers horizon, covers your thoughts, turning mental clutter into soft gradient. Eros. Arrow in slow motion where love takes shape, Eris hovers like solitary hummingbird. Child or youth, angel or silhouette, his form adapts to expectation. Tonight he appears as dusky wind adolescent, eyes twin twilight stars. Quiver rests against. Ribcage, arrow knocked but not yet released. These arrows are not barbed. They are tuning forks. When they strike flesh, they vibrate at frequency that excites electrons in blood, releasing cascade of dopamine that scientists millennia hence will attempt to measure. Yet arrows hum is too quiet for apparatus. Only soul feels it. Eros lifts. Bow, draws string of braided heart gut. He aims not at you tonight, your observer, but at mirrored lake inside memory. Arrow looses, its flight is audible as soft cello glissando. Tip touches lake surface. Ripples lace outward, each ring whispering a name you once loved, perhaps still love, perhaps will love. Ripple reaches shoreline of consciousness dims. You might taste trace of pomegranate on tongue-sweet tart balance. Physics of desire much. Later, Isaac Newton will speak of gravity, and Einstein will bend space-time. But the quiet physics of desire lives here. Two masses exchange photons. Skin warms, synapses release oxytocin, planets tilt microscopically. Aphrodite plucks warp thread. Loom hum covers cosmic creek. If you imagine eyes meeting across crowded agra, dopamine spikes, pupils dilate. This dilation triggers mirror reflex. Second set of pupils dilate. Desire doubles back, positive feedback. Two hearts accelerate by fractional beat. Like binary stars locked in gravitational dance, they orbit common barycenter. Unseen but potent dot, now set that binary system aside and feel your breath mimic it. Inhale, approach. Hold barycenter, exhale, recede. Again, even alone in bedroom. Your chest moves as two bodies courting each other, lungs and heart in tango. Island of Kitharophrodite steps offshore. Boards seashell chariot drawn by dolphins with topaz eyes. They bear her to Kythera, island where rosemary blooms in sea. Spray where white rock arches frame turquoise coves. She strolls cliff path. Each footfall births wild rose. At cliff edge she stops, draws small blade, nicks rose stem. Drop of rose blood lands on foam, transforms into song audible only to couples. Parted by war. Somewhere, a hoplite in drafty tent smells rose, remembers betrothed, and heart steadies despite distant clash. You may sense warmth along spine roseblood note traveling through air ducts, through ear canal into memory vault. It opens cedar, chest labeled tenderness you forgot you deserved. Outpours faint scent of cinnamon baking, kitten purr from childhood, gentle squeeze of friend's hand at graveside. Chest closes. Memory flutters but does not overwhelm. Hephaestus visit. Alloy of passion and patience. Across path appears Hephaestus, limping yet resolute, hammer slung. Though marriage to Aphrodite is fraught with mythic intrigue, tonight they greet with comfortable nod. Hephaestus presents medallion fused from copper, passion, and tin, patience, bronze heart. Aphrodite threads medallion onto loom warp, anchoring cloth at center. It glints, catches moonlight, tosses shards across cliff like disco of starlings. Dream, weaving. There's Aphrodite gestures. Loom cloth unrolls overhead, becoming night canopy. Stars reconstruct themselves as pinwheels, hearts, infinity symbols. Some symbols align with constellations you know. Orion now holds bridal bouquet. Cassiopeia cradles baby swan. This sky is blueprint for dreams of reunion, forgiveness. Soft redemption. Eros fires second arrow gently toward your pillow. Arrow dissolves mid-flight, showering golden motes that drift down, settle on blanket, seep through fabric into skin. Motes carry neuropeptide Y chemical of security quieting amygdala, lowering cortisol. Scientific names dissolve into hush. Only calm remains. Beach of moon mirrors, imagine you walk beach where each grain of sand reflects lover's face not yet met. Waves lap ankles warm as bath. Above, loom cloth sky rotates slowly. Warp threads interact with Earth's magnetic field, coaxing tectonic plates to whisper lullabies upward. Those lullabies vibrate bed frame, align vertebrae, sync. Circadian pacemaker, Aphrodite presses finger to lips. Hush. She touches loom, folds cloth 3 times. Each fold sends ripple of melatonin through bloodstream. Fingers tingle. Scalp warms. Mind begins offlining memory into hippocampal vault. Dreams cue. Some comedic, some romantic, none frightening. Closing. The workshop loom lamp dims to ember. Dolphins dive. Seashell chariot dissolves back into wave. Eros shoulders quiver, waves. Beach blurs. Warp threads retract into spindle. The hush deepens until only surf pulse remains. mirroring resting heart rate 48, 46. Steady. Inhale final guided breath taste of salted caramel and cold rose tea. Exhale, feel lips slack, jaw loose. Let mind drift. Maybe you dream of pearl rising from foam, maybe of arrow meeting water, maybe of loom threads weaving name of person you will love tomorrow or next decade. All visions are safe. Aphrodite supervises dream floor. Eros shades nightmare edges to soft vignette. Sleep now. Let loom's fabric tuck around consciousness, rosebuds close, arrowheads dull. Physics of desire has done its math. Remainder equals rest, drift, sweetheart of the quiet shore. Dawn will wake you with tide soft kiss. Take one slow breath and imagine the faint clink of steel, too soft to startle, more memory than noise. That single tone hovers in twilight like a firefly made of sound. Tonight we place our palms against that tone and feel it vibrate low and steady, without the scream that war can wear when wide awake. We turn toward two siblings standing at opposite ends of the same spear shaft. Ares, raw pulse of clash, and Athena, clarified strategy that shepherds clash toward meaning. Together they spin the pivot of spear tips, yet here in the hush before. Dream, even their rivalry becomes lullaby. Step 1. Sand before storm and hail, 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, hold 2. Exhale 6, and with the exhale picture a flat plain at dawn, soil the color of rose ash. No banners yet. No hoof prints, only dew shining on bent barley. Wind slides over surface, combing stalks so gently, the field seems furred like a sleeping cat. Amid that feline hush stands Ares, bronze cuirass unbuckled, letting chest breathe. His hair dark, tangled carries pollen shed by night bloom anemones. He kneels, presses bare palm to earth as though taking its temperature. Beneath skin, he feels the planet's magma swirl, a molten mirror of his own blood. For 1 full minute, he does not move. Workout listening for heartbeat older than fury. Far away, on limestone ridge, Athena watches. Owl feathers crown her helm. Gray eyes red wind the way astronomers read star tables. In her right hand, a spear of ashwood capped in polished orichalcum. In her left, rolled parchment on which faint charcoal arrows map maneuver not yet needed. She notes how barley lies, how dew beaded on Ares' gauntlet refracts dawn data points for a calculus of calm. Step 2. Breastsmith's bellows. Ares stands, exhales, and the exhale becomes a bellows puffing ember at base of throat. He swings practice sword, once slow letting metal cut nothing but air. Blade a song barely audible, yet you feel its ribbon coil around diaphragm. Next swing slower still, having speed, until blade stops mid-arc, balanced on tension of withheld motion. That paused blade is where sleep begins, potential brace between inhale and exhale. Athena descends ridge, solace silent on flint scree. She reaches plain, plants spear butt, and tilts head toward brother. No hostility, merely greeting between two forces required for wholeness. Opposites may spar, but nods remain courteous. In their presence, you might notice heartbeats of left and right ear alternating loop. Ares, dub within a natural stereo of conflict and counsel. Step 3. Forge of quiet shields. Both siblings walk to circle of white stones marking neutral ground. They crouch and, with fingertips, draw shallow trench. Ares places sword inside trench. Athena lays parchment atop blade. Together they scoop sand, bury both objects. This is armistice ritual at scale of whisper. Sand sifts like hourglass, muffling edges. Overhead, a lark tests first trill of day. Note drifts, finds no echo, drifts again, settles. Your blankets now equal that sand. Imagine burying your own sharp thoughts, unfinished argument, missed deadline, under thin layer of warm grains. Edge still exists but cannot cut. Weight of sand, of cloth, of eyelids turns blade into inert line. Step 4. March without. Footfallers raises left hand. From horizon emerges silent phalanx of hoplite shades, not men, each translucent, each stepping in perfect unison, yet leaving no crunch in barley. Their shields shimmer silver, reflecting nascent sky. This is pageant, not threat, crafted by Ares to remember purpose without spilling blood. Athena lifts right hand. From opposite horizon glide translucent scholars, scrolls unfurled, styluses poised. They march too, their sandals brushing air centimeters above ground, recording ghost footprints of phalanx. At plane center both lines. Meet, interlace, rotate. Dissolve ink diluting into echo. The choreography slides into your breathing pattern. Chest rises as phalanx advances, pauses at center, falls as it dissolves. 3 cycles and scene fades, leaving pulse slower by 2 beats. Step 5. Tempering helm of thought Athena produces small amble no bigger than apple. Ares pulls molten droplet of what looks like sunset from satchel. Droplet hovers, glowing. Amber. Athena's hammer is a syllogism. Ares' tongs are adrenaline. Together they shape droplet into helm no wider than thumb, micro helmet intended for mind. They quench it in dew gathered earlier. Steam wafts, scented of sage and iron. Helm cool, Athena sets it on your brow, not heavy, more like kokoi. It channels stray lightning of half-awake chatter into organized constellations. Step 6. Whisper of spear tips pivoting wane returns, brushing barley tips. Each stalk bends like spear pivoting around invisible axis. Ares picks single barley. Head studies ons, notes curvature. Athena observes shadow angle, measures pivot point. Physics reveals itself. Minimal movement at base yields sweeping arc at tip. They nod insight packeted for later counsel to engineers of city walls, and lovers of dance alike picture your own worries as spear tips pivoting in dark. Slight shift at emotional root transforms wide flare at anxiety blade. If root is steady breath counted, limbs relax blade describes benign arc, slices only night air. You feel that shift now. Root anchored in mattress, spear thoughts. Grazing ceiling, then floating harmless. Step 7. Campfire of cold flame evening fast forwards. Torches ignite though air remains cool. Ares and Athena sit opposite low brazier burning cold flame blue fire, emitting no smoke, only faint. Hum like distant kettle just before whistle. They share bread soaked in pomegranate oil. You taste faint tartness at back of tongue. Signal for phase to begin soon. Around brazier materialize minor deities. Phobos and Deimos, fear and terror encased in glass spheres. Inert, Athena taps spheres once, cracks appear. Tiny bats of dread flutter out but dissolve into stardust before reaching listener. Fear tamed by strategy. Ares grins. For him, victory is not always conquest. Sometimes it is staying hand. He stretches arm, releases dove from gauntlet. Dove circles brazier. Thrice. Lands on Athena's shoulder, coos once. Peace treaty signed without quill. Step 8. Drowsing drum of shields, hoplite shades, reform. Kneel, lay shields and ring. Wayne passes through ring holes, generating bass drone like massive drumhead. That drone matches 40 hertz delta wave. Deep sleep frequency. Athena adjusts pitch by tilting one shield, drone lowers. Ares nods, satisfied. You feel vibration in sternum, lulling deeper. Step 9. Withdrawal of blades. Downward drip of adrenaline. Ares stands, claps hands once. All remaining metal liquefies, streams across ground into single goblet. He hands goblet to Athena. She adds drop of laurel ink. Color shifts to tranquil teal. Athena pours goblet into shallow trench, covering buried sword and parchment ceiling. Packed, liquid absorbs into earth. You sense adrenaline reservoirs behind ribcage drain into calm reservoir low, and abdomen step 10. Curtain of dusk silk twilight curtain descends, woven by Morpheus's unseen assistance. Figures fade, barley darkens, loom of battle story rolls away. Only hush remains, same hush that preceded first clang of Bronze Age. Ares nods goodnight, limps toward horizon. Athena tucks parchment behind cuirass, dissolves into owl shadow. Step 11. Personal armistice your bed is now neutral ground between impulse and introspection. Spear tips pivot softly overhead, then vanish. Helm of thought cool on brow tempers dream forging. Breathe once more. Inhale 4, hold 2, exhale 8 as if blowing candle across camp. Half mile away, dot in that long exhale, wars of day settle into truce. Maybe tomorrow debates resume, projects compete, but for now, Ares sheaths hostility, Athena shelves tactic. Brain waves roll into delta, shields drum continue until dawn dims them. You float, uncut, unthreatened, pivot of spear tips. Now, pivot of dream cycles dot sleep deep. War's whispers parade of caution and courage. Both guard bedside tonight. When dawn returns, you may lift helm, recall strategies, ignite healthy fire and blood. Until then, rest within hush forged by siblings who know conflict best. Ares granting warmth, Athena granting clarity, both silent so you may drift. Breathe in through the nose catch the faintest hint of crushed grape skins and exhale through parted lips as though fogging a winter window. Tonight the air itself drapes you like a velvet cloak dyed with mulberry and midnight. When it shifts, it releases a bouquet of fig leaf, smoked cedar, and something wilder that resists naming. Follow that scent downstream into the domain of Dionysus, the twice-born god who teaches vines to dream in spiral tendrils and teaches dreamers to vine themselves gently around the trellis of sleep. His lullaby is not flutes and harps, but the hush that lingers in a wine cellar after the casks stop creaking and molast. Bubble of fermentation slips upward to pop in candle glow. 1. The vineyard at first indigo picture, a hillside bathed in. Final light before night fully claims sky, the color Homer once called oinops. Wine, dark. Leaves curl like sleeping bats, their underside silvering as temperature dips. Dionysus walks the rose barefoot, heels sinking in loam still warm. From day. Under one arm, he cradles a wicker basket half filled with amphora shards broken because ecstasy, like clay, sometimes cracks under its own fire. He hums a wordless tune that vibrates low in chest cavity, more vibration than melody. As he passes, vine leaves uncurl, revealing tiny opal droplets of residual rain, each droplet catching last sky glimmer and refracting it into micro-galaxies. 2. First sip, breath as vintage inhale again. 4. Steady counts. Imagine that air entering body as juice enters vat, cool, sweet, laden with dormant yeast. Hold allow enzymes time to grate sugars, then exhale. Carbon dioxide of worry floats off, leading musk calmer. With each cycle, breath ferments lightly. By third cycle, it tingles at nostrils, faint sparkle reminiscent of young pet gnat. Dionysus kneels by a marble trough carved with ivy motifs. From wicker basket, he pours amphora shards. They clink like wind chimes tempered in desert. He adds handful of crushed violets, twist of pomegranate rind, and a single drop of seawater collected where dolphins taught sailors to laugh. Mixture fizzes briefly, then dims to quiet. Steam arises smelling of library dust and orchard blossom contradictions cozying up. Exactly his style. 3 chorus of satyrs at distant edge farther downslope. A ring of satyrs warns reed pipes by campfire, but pipes stay mute until nod from their lord. For now they sway, hooves scuffing rhythm into earth. Soft thud, pause, double thud. Pause a heartbeat syncopated enough to coax delta waves in listeners. Even coyotes hush, unsure whether to join or drift away. You hover at safe distance, eardrums registering pattern just below threshold of conscious decoding. Perfect for sedation. Point 4, second birth, second breath, remember. Dionysus was born twice, once from Semele's mortal womb consumed by lightning, and again from Zeus's thigh where God stitched embryo, keeping heartbeat alive against thunder's roar. This double gestation gives Dionysus his unique dialect, half lightning, half lull. He raises hand. A spark arcs between ring finger and thumb, then dims into ember before reaching ground. That spark is invitation to release day's residual static arguments, new scrolls, fluorescent buzz. Exhale, letting spark ash drift away unnoticed. 5. Cup of oblivion. Cup of recall. 2 kylakes appear on smooth basalt table, one filled with dark wine shot with silver motes. Cup of oblivion. The other pale rose swirling with gold flecks. Cup of recall. Dionysus offers both, but suggests alternating sips. Forget gives remember, gives forget balance tide, preventing mind from drowning either river. You raise cup of oblivion. Liquid tastes like elderberry folded into dusk. Thoughts blur, edges round. Cup of recall follows, flavor of sun-warmed strawberry and fireplace smoke. A single warm memory resurfaces, maybe childhood swing set, maybe scent of rain on chalk. Sip pattern continues until mouth tingles pleasant, never numbed. 6. Physics. A surrendery scholar once argued ecstasy is simply the moment when inner critic misplaces clipboard. Dionysus laughs at scholar, yet invites him to vineyard every full moon. Here scholarship and surrender share one hammock. He guides you to that hammock fabric of woven fern fibers, suspended between 2 olive trees singing insect lullabies. You lie down, weight distributing like juice in barrel. Hammock rocks, inhale upswing, pause moment of weightlessness, exhale downswing. Vestibular system calibrates to slower frequency, coaxing cerebellum to release muscle tension cascades. 7. Sound of grape skin breaking satyrs receive nod. One pipe releases single note, so soft it approaches silence. Another pipe replies microtone lower. Between notes floats near inaudible pop grape skin breaking under fingertip. Sequence repeats, turning into distributed rhythm akin to distant rain starting on terracotta roof. Left hemisphere, hungry for pattern, concedes defeat, hands keys. To right hemisphere, dream imagery begins slideshow behind eyelids, 8-star press overhead. Constellations invert, appearing as negative photograph. Stars squeeze, grape press style, bleeding purple light that drips through hammock threads onto your chest, where it soaks through fabric into heart. You feel chest cavity warm, not hot, like bath-filled moments before perfect. Purple glow pulses once, twice, syncing with vagus nerve. Parasympathetic mode engages, lowering heart rate 5 beats per minute. 9. Fermentation lock. At end of vineyard stands large oak barrel fitted with glass airlock. Water in airlock rises and falls in slow blip as carbon dioxide escapes. Dionysus. Taps airlock. Blip slows, signaling to your amygdala that no urgent fermentation remains. Adrenaline valves close. Barrel lid bears iron carving. Rest follows rapture. He traces letters. Each letter glows, then cools, as if flipped by unseen switch. Same glow traces along your forearms, writing word rest in language of GOOS, EBUMPS. 10. Gifts of ivy and honey. Dionysus crowns you with wreath of ivy leaves damp with dew. Ivy's cool scent mutes cortisol, acts mild hypnotic. He drizzles spoonful of pine honey on tongue slow, viscous. Honey coats throat, easing micro-tensions in vocal cords, reminding larynx it need not rehearse tomorrow's conversations. Words dissolve into vowel, hum, felt more than heard. 11. Last note before silent satyr's lower pipes. leaving lone tympanum drum beating at 0.8 hertz, near core of delta wave. Drum's reverb merges with heartbeat until distinction erodes. You float between vine rows, hammock no longer felt, replaced by sense of gentle suspension and warm must. 12. Hypnagogic vineyard walk vision resets. You walk vineyard again, but vines now translucent, leaves glassy. Between vines shimmer doorways. To dreams, scenes tinted burgundy and gold. Choose any doorway. Dionysus says whichever you pick pours same vintage of calm. You step through first on left, inside, stone bath carved into hillside fills with rose foam. Immersion induces full body. Exhale, toast to scalp. You might hear cork popping somewhere distant. Maybe that cork is sunrise 8 hours away. Nothing to do until cork lands. 13. Cellar of sleeping barrels door leads. Downward into vaulted cellar where barrels line walls like hibernating bears. Each barrel has metal plaque etched with word. Hush, linger, float, forget. You pass fingertip. Over each plaque, oak staves hum faint chord. Choosing barrel marked float, you rest palm. Lid becomes feather mattress beneath hand. Entire body sinks sideways into oak, wood liquefying around silhouette until you lie inside barrel, yet remain. Dry. Lid closes, but interior glimmers with bioluminescent yeast swirling lazy spiral. 14. East constellations, yeast specks cluster, forming new constellations. The ladle of let go, the pillow bridge, the blank page. Each constellation flickers. Slower and dimmer, leading eyes toward darkness ideal for REM. Last flicker fades. Lid above head now transparent, revealing night sky where original constellations regain color. Clock of stars shows early hours. Plenty left 0.15, return to. Blank shore soft shift, barrel dissolves, you stand again on original shoreline. Waves lap, slower than at opening. Dionysus sits on overturned amphora, humming lull. He nods. Ceremony complete. He lifts hand in benediction. Fingertips release thin streams of purple sand that drift upward, reverse gravity, eventually merging. With Milky Way dust band. Good night. He mounts 0.16. Seal of sleep sea breeze closes around ankles. Rises to knees, to chest, to neck. Finally sealing eyelids from outside. Inhale final time. Flavor of dark chocolate and cracked pepper. Exhale. Only cool salt remains. Blankets heavier now, like fermented juice thickened to velour. Body yields. Mind hums faint edge, then falls silent dots sleep deep in wine dark lullaby. Let fermentation continue unseen. Sugars converting pressures smoothing. At dawn, internal vintner will rack dream wine into crystal carafe of memory, ready for slow sipping throughout day. Until then, surrender. Dionysus holds vineyard keys. Satyrs guard cellar doors. No worry can yank cork before time. The hour has folded in on itself, that deep blue pocket just before birds rehearse their first tentative scales. In that pocket thin as vellum, yet stretching horizon to horizon footsteps, land so light they fail to wake dew. Breathe once, a 4-count inhalation, and feel pillow rise like a slow elevator. Hold 2, exhale 6 as elevator resolves into cloud underfoot. A single star winks twice, signaling clearance, and Hermes, the winged sandaled courier of gods, springs from shadow into silent flight. Tonight he will thread his way through rafters, chimneys, open windows, depositing parcels of dream beneath. Eyelids. Tonight you will ride alongside, discovering how sleep and message share the same AIRSTREAM.1. Bronze dusted track at roof winning machine, city roofs in profile. Row upon row like reversed heartbeat on electrocardiograph. Peak, valley, peak. Each tile glints bronze where moonlight brushes dust. Hermes lands on first ridge, knees soft, solace whisper. Wing feathers at each anklet twitch miniature swan wings wrought in electrum. Feathers count seconds with tiny shudder rustle. Foot, foot, pause, foot lifts, next roof, foot, foot. You listen. Cadence matches sinus arrhythmia calm of sleeping mammal. Your breath reflexively adjusts. Inhale as wings furl. Exhale at pause. Oxygen saturates. Heart rate yields .2. Pouch of Onori letters slung across Hermes' chest hangs. Leather satchel smelling of cedar oil and static. He unbuckles flap. Inside shimmer hundreds of sealed dream letters, each envelope faintly pulsing in its own hue. Some glow aquamarine, promising ocean low. Others flick rose, hinting reunion with long-gone friend. A few pulse streaked crimson, but fade quickly nightmares, scheduled for therapeutic cameo, not terror. Hermes selects envelope labeled, with a braided glyph of your name glyph invisible to wakeful eye, yet luminous here. He tucks it under arm, readies next stride. .3 wind bridge over courtyard. Between 2 blocks yawns courtyard mosaic, moon reflecting off rain puddle shaped. Like lyre, Hermes leaps. Air beneath sandals thickens into temporary bridge of laminar wind. Mid-arc, he flips once, not to show off, but to let pouch rest differently on spine, preventing crinkle. As he rotates, you see constellations swirl slow around him like mobile above cradle. Their slow spin cues vestibular system to relax. Middle ear fluid calms. Possibility of vertigo extinguishes. On landing, heel touches first, absorbing shock. Toe follows, releasing energy which vents through feather veins, producing sigh no louder than shirt collar settling 0.4 threshold of sleeping house roof tile beneath glows warm. Hermes kneels, presses palm. Clay softens, yawns open forming spiral. Hatch. He descends into attic smelling of lavender sachets stored by hands decades dead. Dust motes swirl, but he breathes none. Lungs filter only time. Steps on joist, then rafter, weight distributed so beam hums barely. At ceiling hatch, he pauses. The low, your room, lamp off. Only LED of dormant device blinking guardian green. Hermes extends parchment, edges soften, become strip of mist, slips. Through seam between curtains. .5, insertion of dream scroll mist unrolls above brow as you lie half slid into liminal zone. Scroll prints itself onto interior of eyelids. First stroke, azure wave. Second stroke, brass key. Third stroke, hallway. Lined with oak. None shocking, all laced with symbols mind will metabolize into narrative once Ream Gate opens. Hermes taps center of scroll. Glyph syncs, setting timer dream to trigger 4 sleep cycles hence, when body temperature at nadir and memory consolidation enzymes most hungry. Satisfied, he draws invisible zipper, sealing eyelid canvas. .6 whispered to the pineal gland Hermes. Drops to floor with silence of spider silk. From belt, he removes vial the size of thumbnail. Label reads melatonina. He uncorks. Vapor curls upward, travels nostril microdrafts, navigates olfactory bulb labyrinth, arrives at pineal gland deep in brain. Gland glows, receiving raw material to synthesize melatonin spike. Cortical chatter dims 5 decibels, neuron lights. Flick to orange standby. .7 messenger's pause. Breath inventory, he sits cross-legged on foot of bed. Opens small codex bound in birch bark. Pages list breath pattern of each sleeper in district. He scans until pulse icon beside your initials turns steady aqua target rhythm 666. Achieved 6-second inhale plus exhale cycles. With nod, he flips page. Parchment self-scrolls. To next address. 8-wing maintenance micro dream Beaufort departure. Hermes plucks single down feather from anklet. He sets it afloat above duvet. Feather elongates, transforms into charcoal sketch of wing, then into full color micro dream lasting. 2 heartbeats. You sprint barefoot over worn beach. Wind lifts heels, momentary flight. Proprioceptors taste weightlessness. Brain writes update to cerebellum, balance good, fear nil. Microdream folds back, becomes feather again. Tucks into pouch. .9 back root via chimney convection. He notes faint upward draft from heater vent. Wings extend half span, capture convective current, lifting him vertically without foot push. A swirl of ash ghost follows. You smell cedar smoke for half second, comforting as campfire you never attended. Ceiling hatch seals. Roof tile rehardens. Grout lines perfect .10 fleet across Dream District. Now view widens. Hermes zigzags across suburb. Each roof touch leaving tiny glyph like dew molecular but luminous to gods. Those glyphs form mesh network, relaying updates on re-aim phases. Where nightmares surge high amplitude, Hermes tilts pouch, releases drizzle of star pollen. Pollen settles, nightmares downgrade from 3 alarm to cautionary fable. Where insomnia flares red, he plants horseshoe magnet under pillow, drawing runaway thoughts to orbit until morning. 11 dialogue with Hypnos at edge of marsh. Hermes lands beside marble bench, half submerged in cattails. On bench reclines Hypnos, personification of sleep, eyes half-lidded like cat drunk on sunbeam. Hypnos lifts quill, checks parchment of district. Nods, deliveries on schedule. He exhales yon wind that ripples marsh surface in concentric hush. That hush drifts on night breeze back toward your window, thickening silence. Noise floor drops 2 decibels, more .12 cloud bridge to Starshell Depot hemisphere overhead shiz. Hue from navy to grape ink. Hermes backs up 3 paces, Brant sleeps. Sandals strike nothing, then something cloud whirl, stabilized by his own momentum. He ascends staircase of cumulus, each step materializing 1 pace ahead, vanishing 1 pace behind. At apex floats Starshell Depot, half-dome warehouse sculpted from faint aurora. Within, shelves hold new packets. Tomorrow's daydream seeds, hunches, deja vu fragments. Hermes trades empty envelopes for full, signs ledger with stylus of starlight. Ledger writes back, a small thank you in Morse spark. Transaction closed. 13, return glide and feather shower descent is glide. Arms wide, body angled 15 degrees, wings beating once per city block. Each beat shakes loose micro feathers that drift into night like snow nobody will shovel. Feathers enter open windows, park fountains, stray dog dreams. 1 feather slides through your screen, settles on nightstand. At first light, it will dissolve into drop of dew smelling faintly of peppermint. Unconscious mind will inhale, waking. Will feel unexpectedly optimistic. 14 final check and locking mechanism before sunrise bleaches eastern roofline. Hermes pauses above your eaves. He touches forefinger to tongue, raises to wind barometer of rest. Finding conditions optimal, he presses glyph in air. Glyph rotates, becomes padlock, snaps onto dream scroll scene. Only alarm clock or dawn chorus can unlock. Dream archived. He salutes horizon, wings furl, body tucks. He vanishes into pencil-thin contrail. 15 sleepers integration back in bed. Your respiration slow, thermoregulation prime. Synapses busy consolidating. Hippocampus replays daytime sequences, injecting insight tags packaged by Hermes. Motor cortex edits out unwanted muscle twitches. Meanwhile, dream scroll begins to unfurl. Test pattern of azure wave, brass key, oak hallway expanding into narrative. Perhaps walking seaside labyrinth, unlocking childhood attic, filled with books you have yet to write. Whatever plot, heart remains calm. Cortisol held in abeyance by melatonin vial. Blanket heavier now, as though woven from night zone fabric. Outside, first bird lifts note, but you are 2 sleep cycles from surface. Note dims before it reaches. Breath in warm honey cadence, breath out vanilla dusk. Winged sandaled courier has logged out, but his route marks hover like faint chalk on inside eyelids. Map you'll reuse tomorrow when daydream requires quick detour. Fatigue spreads final balm across scalp, jaw slackens, ears fill with cotton. Hush! Messenger's night run done, dispatch delivered. All that remains is to glide deeper into Valley of Nod. If you sense light footfall across roof, it's only echo of his return loop, checking locks, sleep secure. Gods keep postal schedule. The sky is no longer black and not yet blue. An ambiguous hush painted the color of cold ash. In that hush, chimney smoke folds itself into slow motion ribbons while cock crow still lingers undecided in a rooster's throat. This is the hour when major gods withdraw behind clouded balustrades and the minor gods' household guardians. Corridor echoes, candle flame spirits shuffle forward to tidy the stage before dawn lifts its curtain. Let blankets cocoon your shoulders. Inhale to the count of 4, hold 2, exhale 6. Feel warmth pool like banked coals behind closed grate. 1, last pulse of the night lamp on a small cedar nightstand at the world's edge. A terracotta oil lamp flickers. Its wick is guarded by Hestia Minor, a spark sister of the greater. Hearth goddess. She is as tall as your thumb, hair the color of smoldering clove. When you inhale, her flame leans toward you, gifting a strand of honey amber light. When you exhale, the flame bows back, conserving fuel. Her job is simple yet eternal. Keep one ember alive so morning can inherit fire without violence. You might feel that ember glimmer low behind sternum steady, modest, sufficient to floorboard echoes and the gobbling of quiet steps somewhere down. A wooden corridor, a loose plank answers the shift of house beams, creak ch. That sound belongs to Pygmaegul's Klingon, tiniest of resonant spirits. He rides pressure waves the way surfers ride tide, flattening sharp edges of unexpected noise. When the refrigerator hum kicks, he shaves its decibels. When neighbor's car door thumps, he pockets the echo and buries it under porch moss. Tonight he hums in key of B flat, guiding your heart into musical agreement. Listen not with ears, but with ribs, and note how heartbeat gradually sinks to hallway hush. 3, cobweb telegraph and Arachne's airs across ceiling corners. Drift silver threads spun by Arachneanae, grandchildren of the punished weaver. Arachne. They are not cursed, but redeemed through subtlety. Their filaments conduct static away from dreams, preventing the crackle that can jolt a sleeper awake. Each filament shivers when you twitch, then relaxes when muscle slack returns. Imagine them as gentle harp strings plucked by the weight of letting go. Vibration travels upward, discharges into the night like sighs lost between constellations. 4 cupboard spirits, the penances and Larry's open. In your mind, the cupboard nearest kitchen hearth. Inside stand clay jars of salt, honey, flour. Behind them crouch the Penates, guardians of stored sustenance. Their shoulders dusted with semolina, they whisper lullabies no longer than a crumb. Enough, enough, enough. On the mantle above fireplace parade the Larrys, little bronze statuettes representing ancestors. They tilt their heads as you breathe, approving that lungs still rise and fall. 1 Lar points cane at wall clock. The pendulum obeys by slowing half beat, granting dream time an extra minute. 5 Nyx and Hemera at the threshold deep outside. Nyx, primordial night, retreats like velvet. Curtain. Her daughter Hemera approaches from opposite horizon, carrying pale bowl of pearl gray photons. At the exact moment, bowl lip meets velvet edge. A hush similar to page turn settles over room. You may notice retina behind closed lids brightened by a single lumen. Not enough to wake, but enough to tint dream palette from cobalt to misty lavender. Nyx strokes your hair once in farewell. Hemera kisses brow without heat-cold promise of later sunlight. 6. The final ember roster Hestia Minor paces rim of oil lamp, consulting roster of embers, a parchment listing every glowing particle inside house stove pilot, router LED, glimmer of charge, and quartz watch capacitor. She checks each, nudges one, dims another, ensuring no spark grows jealous of dawn's. Pending rain, under her governance, the ember behind your sternum dims to comfortable orange, ideal for deep cycle cellular repair. 7 Dream Delivery Archival Last Chapter. You received dream letter from Hermes. Hypnosis archivists now arrive owl-eyed. Figures in parchment robes to file that letter into hippocampal stacks. They slip pages into down sleeve, stamp with wax seal depicting sprouting almond. Wax cools instantly. Memory now consolidated, ready for retrieval on future afternoon, when almond scent drifts from baker's window and you suddenly smile without knowing why. 8 minor wind deity and curtain ballet curtain edge lifts though. Window closed work of Cliti Anemos, breeze nymphs specializing in air less than 7 inches thick. She circulates oxygen, letting carbon dioxide ghosts flee toward floor vent. She choreographs soft billow that brushes cheek like cat whisker. Delta waves deepen 1 notch. Curtain falls, nymph bows. Exit unseen. 9 Ember to whisper transmutation at bedfoot stands Sigalos, godling of kept secrets. He collects leftover, words unsaid today, unfinished sentence, withheld apology, distills them into red embers in palm, then blows. Embers convert into whispers shaped like snowflakes that melt before hitting sheet. Unshed words lose weight, chest unclenches. 10 Floor heat. Symphony. Radiant conduction beneath floorboards glows serpentine pipe carrying hot water. Around pipe dance thermocouple, sprites with copper skin. They conduct heat upward in measured pulses, 90-second cycles, preventing cool toe startle. Their dance pairs with slowed breathing. Inhale aligns with thermal crest, exhale with trough. Comfort expands foot to crown. 11 Distant dog bark nullifier outside. Perhaps a lonely dog prepares bark. Phonophage, eater of stray noise, intercedes. He opens small lantern, barks travel inside, swirl like smoke, compress into marble no larger. Then lentil, which he pockets for later release in meadow far away. Night remains unbroken. Our aim remains intact. 12-minute hand hesitation wall clock ticks. Kronos, sprite of microseconds, pinches minute hand, politely asking it to pause. Hand delays fraction that equals extra half breath for dreamer. Hand then continues. Schedule preserved, but mercy granted. 13 Cozy constellation, bed linen. Asterism's fold of blanket forms small hill. Wrinkle forms valley. Linistrophe, weavers of sheetland topography. Trace chalk constellations along fabric. The gentle spoon, the nesting cat, the quill at rest. As you shift, constellations slide into ever simpler shapes until only the quiet dot remains, symbol of absolute still. Body mirrors, ceasing micro adjustments. 14 First ember of dawn oil lamp, finally gutters. Single spark leaps skyward and becomes dawn's first photon. That photon traverses atmosphere, refracts. On dust, it scatters into salmon rose bloom. It will reach windows soon, but not yet. Spirit's note timetable. You possess 2, maybe 3 cycles more. 15 household roll call complete Hestia minor. Pygmaeus quinin, Arachionai, Penades, Lares, Clydianemos, Thermicopoi, Phonophage, Cronid, Linistrophe. Sigalos each signs name in ember register, file quills, dun cloaks of vanishing taupe. They step into narrow crease between seconds and vanish until next dust. 16 Sleepers release, breathe now. Counting 8 on exhale. Feel ribs sink snug against heart. There is nothing to guard. Guardians have clocked out only after ensuring. Perimeter safe, memory shelved, ember banked, silence curated. In this last stretch of night, dreams fade paler, like fresco washed by milk. You float, half aware, but anchored. Melatonin drips slower, cortisol still snoozes, growth hormone. Hums, patching cellular walls. If stray worry taps window, it finds latch secured by Sigalos. Worry wanders away, confused. Pupils behind lids constrict slightly, sign of light's pending arrival, but brain doubles theta wave amplitude, gifting final montage, meadow, brook compass pointing nowhere, but contentment. 17 dawn inserts key outside. Hemera lifts pearl gray bowl, tips it, light spills, rolls downhill, slips under door, brushes sheet. Not an alarm, more a handshake. Pineal gland feels nudge, instructs melatonin valve to taper. You won't wake for several minutes, maybe an hour, according to chronotype. Until then, fade another layer, deeper paradox of nearing surface while diving. 18 echoes and embers fade lamp, now dark. Embers under gray cool to black pearls. Echo in corridor silent, threads on ceiling still. Cupboards closed. Yet faint after image remains. Silhouettes of diligent spirits stamped on inner eye. They bow, wave, promise return at nightfall. You roll lazily to one side, blanket following like loyal tide. Sleep lingers, featherlight but unbroken. Dawn can wait outside shoes off threshold, while blood completes final sweep of lactic acid. Brain rinses last free radical. Echoes recede. Embers cease to glow, but warmth persists, proof of guardianship. Exhale once more, longer than before. Feel room expand while you contract into point of restful gravity. In that point, names of minor gods flicker out, leaving only softness, only hush, only ember dethroned yet never dead. Dawn pushes door a whisper wider. You do not stir. Sleep, dreamer. Echoes and embers will rise again with moon, but for now, they have left you in safest cradle. Silence wreathed in first light, heart beating steadier than sunrise schedule.